Well, hello, good morning, Albertans, Canadians, First Peoples. It's a terrible reality. I was extremely busy last night. Actually, all day yesterday. It was a full 16-hour day upon my birthday. And while there were major completions and monumental works, it was an incredible day on many levels. Again, I was all over the world in many Zooms, all through the United States, but actually all over the world. It was draining. I'm still extremely, very tired. Haven't even got to answer all my birthday wishes. I didn't even get a birthday celebration yet. It's going to be this weekend. I have a lot of work to do here in Alberta as I close out. It's with tremendous sadness that I make this video, as absolutely this is the end of Canada as we've all known it. This had happened in our history once before under one Pierre Elliott Trudeau. And now Justin Trudeau lands the most devastating blow upon Canadians. Released yesterday on my birthday, major bad news. And I'm going to explain that, and I'm going to explain as best as I can and simplify economics for you. Deeply disturbed by Pierre Poilievre and Justin Trudeau alike. All of them disgust me. I literally hate their guts. I hate Stephen Harper, a fellow economist, a propagandist, the worst kind. As bad, actually even worse than one Trevor Tombe in Alberta, my arch nemesis. I never got the platform he got because he kisses the butt of the crown. He's paid handsomely for that. So what has happened yesterday, released by the Bank of Canada, I did miss it, and I'm catching up today on my news. And of course, maybe they thought they could sneak it by, but I'm going to release that for you. So the Bank of Canada has announced not only are they now going ahead in 2 weeks' time with their first increase in the Bank of Canada interest rate, there are going to be 7 more, a total of eight interest rate increases in a 1-year period. Now folks, I'm going to tell you how it works in economics. Countries who are stable, countries that have a lawful system of governance, a stable system of governance, do not have 8 interest rate increases in a 12-month period. That's unheard of. In stable economies, it's unheard of. That is not the mark of a first world country. I'm sorry to have to tell you this. I'm sorry that lying sacks of shit, Pierre Poilievre, who was instrumental in leading us to this path. It was Stephen Harper who crafted this reality for us from 2008 onward, putting all you Canadians under the bus. We talk about inflation. He likes to make videos. I know I'm never going to reach everybody, but there will come a day when this video will be front and center, and you can all look back on it. And I talked about, I had the courage to tell the truth. And that's the reality. Now, Justin Trudeau exploited that. That is the mark of the Liberals, the first class. They're chocked full. They're bored, chocked full of all those who feel absolutely superior to all you. Now, while Conservatives aren't chocked full, and that's the truth, neither is NDP. The reality is those parties have ignored fundamental, world-renowned economics, practices of economics in stable countries. Four stable inflationary periods in a year, just like the seasons. Countries who don't follow that, who lie to you, cheat you, then all of a sudden roll out a pile. It is the destruction of Justin Trudeau. That is the only thing I can say about my birthday and the Bank of Canada. Over the course of this year, it is going to turn the vast majority of Canadians, whether they went liberal and they're majority liberal, It will end a vast majority of the Canadian electorate from voting Liberal in their lifetime, which means we can probably see a good 16 years of likely Conservative rule following the next election, because I promise you all that's the end of Justin Trudeau. Many Canadians, many Canadian business owners, many regular Joe Jane working Canadians are going to lose their homes, lose their livelihoods and their businesses. It's game over. The sad reality is going to be the overwhelming debt placed upon you, the Joe Jane taxpayer, who holds the lion's share of the tax resources, which is clearly not enough. To level this off, that means raising taxes, so it's a double whammy. You lose everything. You welcome to slavery, welcome to serfdom. Canada is going down the toilet. It's going down the toilet for a vast amount of working Joe Janes, a vast amount of small business owners. You're going down. They've already released, and I've seen that, but I didn't realize they're even moving the bar higher. You watch as rental increases become incremental throughout the year. Inflation, we're going to shoot past the United States of America. We're going to shoot past. Bank of Canada says we're going to rein it in by doing double the amount of interest rate increases than any normal functioning, predictable first-class society. First world country, sorry. We're done. We're finished. It's game over for a lot. At least 20% of Canadians are going to be removed from any kind of middle or high middle class income earning. They're going down. They're going down the toilet. Wages are not going up. They're going down as we rapidly increase immigration. And at the same time, we provide unsustainable loans against those interest rate increases. You're going to watch, regardless, our inflationary rate match that of the United States, remain very close at a much lower standard of living. Canadians will never be the same going forward. Never again. And I can promise you all in history, this goes back to one Stephen Harper, who took control of the Bank of Canada from you, the people. Just like independent judiciaries, when I talk in constitutional law and how our Supreme Court, our superior courts are not independent judiciaries, they're King's Court, the constitutional monarchy system that's always been there. Now our public bank is absolutely overtaken. It's lost all credibility. We are going to lose all kinds of global investment. That's a fact. I can promise you this. There is no major world investors who can ever trust an institution like the Bank of Canada for Canada, which means they can't trust you Canadians. They can't, because your government is out of control. This is Dave Bjorkman. This is real world economics. I'm an economics graduate. This is my specialty. Graduated in the province of Alberta. It was my major. And I can tell you, when investors can't predict a country and there's no rhyme or reason and the predictability isn't there, they remove investments. We're finished. We're finished. We are likely going to be moving into a second world country status. Justin Trudeau will be destroyed. He will be destroyed. He will not survive another election. Canadians will turn on him. They will have had their boots filled with the betrayal. And like all angry children, uneducated, they will run to the other side, flip, flop like we always do. And that spells disaster, because it was the other side who empowered Justin Trudeau to have all these powers. They work together. It's called the Crown. Many know it. Many hate it. but not enough. Not enough regular Joe Janes realize what's going on, what's amiss. That's reality. I would love to have a parliamentary address, but I guarantee you that will never happen because the Crown will never allow it to happen. This is my video. Share, 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 and mark it, because I promise you, these words I give you in real economics, backed up by real economists worldwide, not the economists in Canada, because Canada is Crown, and those economists are paid to tell you what the Crown wants them to tell you, which is absolutely at your unbelievable detriment. The kind of detriment that leads countries to Venezuela. And if you think the Conservatives are somehow not responsible for this, I can tell you, as I fell for Stephen Harper many, many years ago, I was a fresh graduate. I walked away from one Ralph Klein. I was young. I believed in Stephen Harper. He was an economist. I was a fresh graduate. All of us, the University of Alberta, Grant MacEwan. For me, there was Athabasca Lethbridge. I was there too. We went and met with all of that. We all fell victim to it. And then all these years later, we see the absolute detriment of what he said and what he actually did. Two opposite things. Stephen Harper, one of the greatest piece of shit prime ministers we've ever had. There's many, but he takes the cake. He made Justin Trudeau a reality, and the reality is the Crown is only for the Crown. There's no such thing as right and left. As great presidents former in the United States, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, and absolutely my personal favorite, Richard Nixon. The most honest president in the entire history of the United States of America, before people run off with Watergate. It's what a president does. It's how he enforces the law that makes the president. And remember, what good are laws if there's no power to enforce them? What good is a president who can't stand up for his words and actually live up to them? He's the only president in the history of the United States who resigned and actually told the truth when caught doing the wrong thing. You can say Watergate was wrong, and it was, but at least he was honest about it. Show me one politician in any history ever that any of you know of that ever stood up and took fault for their actions and were honest. That's the truth. Don't let Watergate overshadow the tremendous accomplishments of a great president. Something here in Canada we've never had with any prime minister. But there are levels of terrible, terrible prime ministers. First place, Justin Trudeau. Second place, possibly tied, is Stephen Harper. That's just in our immediate history. The two most worst prime ministers. Third place, everybody, is Pierre Elliott Trudeau. As unbelievable as that is, third place by all world markers outside of the lying, thieving, raping, genocidal maniac called the Crown of Canada. Everyone will tell you this. It's sad. It's sick. This video is heartbreaking for me. Unexpected to the level of just how bad it is. I couldn't even believe that they would go to that level. Chrystia Freeland, Justin Trudeau are absolute fucking cock-sucking, lying, cheating, soulless, raging, genocidal pricks, pieces of shit. The worst of the worst. You faced so many Canadians and you stabbed them literally with what you claim to have a machete found at a rally site. You jabbed a machete right through the heart of every Canadian, and even worse, all your Liberal supporters. You're criminal. Criminal. You people belong in jail for what you've done to the Joe Jane Canadian, what you've done to the First People. And mark my words on inflation. Whether Canada publishes or not, the United States of America, at least their media has published it. I wait that it comes, but I doubt it. I doubt it's going to come. As they go, we have no choice but to raise the interest rates. Like you didn't know 2 years ago. And any credible economist would have told you this was going to come. And that Chrystia Freeland and Justin Trudeau lying and cheating into 4 more years. And then to let it all spill out. Oh, well, we'll just do what Jason Kenney's doing in Alberta. We're going to be the most unpopular duet in the history of Canada, just like Premier Jason Kenney is in Alberta. A lying, cheating pair of sacks of inhumane shit. The lowest of the low. These people, anywhere else in the world, would be in jail, possibly sentenced to death in many countries, absolutely sentenced to death on the world stage for their horrendous crimes. That's a reality. That's a reality. And for all you bleeding hearts, you remember when it's your kids who can't get enough to eat, and you're sitting there with holes in their winter boots in the coming winters, and you can't get them a new jacket. And you can think of stories and songs of old, a coat made of many colors, because you're going to have to stitch it together. And there's not even enough money for that. And tummies are empty. And think of those in the remote communities who are going to suffer the worst. Absolutely all the treaty lands suffer the worst beyond anybody in North America. All at the great benefit of the major cities, hoping that they can hang on. But I promise you folks, the major cities, the mortgages that won't be met, those who go tits up, do you think they're ever going to vote for lunatics like Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland ever again for as long as they live? The answer is no. I've seen this coming. I've been chanting it, talking about it for many years. I've been deplatformed. I've been reduced from media nut jobs who cry in their soup. Oh, everyone's threatening me. You want to see threats? Wait till 20% of the population doesn't have enough to eat. You want to see animals? What are you going to do? Shoot everybody with the military? Are we going to remain in an Emergency Measures Act, which is the War Measures Act, the same as American martial law and comparative? What are you going to do? Kill everybody? What are you going to do when there's blood on those city streets from the left, from the Liberal base? What are you going to do? It's coming, folks. It's coming. I've lived it. My family's lived it. I've already gone through it. And there's nothing that can be done to me. It's already been done. Time and time again, bringing forward business, working my knuckles to the bone, only to every time have the carpet pulled from under you. You get to a point where, you know what, I'm done playing the Crown's game. I hate the Crown. That's no secret. People have called me lunatic. But now a massive amount of the population, a significant portion of both the right and left and those in the center are going to face it. And who will they blame? And when they're kids, I'll tell you something about being a parent. When you can't afford meds, when you can't afford all the costs of schooling, and your kids are suffering and they got an empty stomach, and you're too weak because you go without so they can have. I've lived that way in my life. I've lived in the worst ways imaginable, like so very many of the lower class. I did it. I don't wish that on anyone, but it's going to become mainstream. Mainstream for the working Joe Janes. Mark my word, it's coming in less than a year. And for others who've secured mortgages, all's well. The inflation makes it real tough, but there's a renewal date coming. And I mark my words, before Justin Trudeau's next election, he's going to face the brunt of 20% of the electorate who's going to lose everything and will be much, much more angry than me. That's my video. If you don't share it, you're part of the problem. People can say, hey, that guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I beg to differ. I've been all throughout the world. I was at the Alberta legislature last night, and it isn't even the tip of the iceberg of so much I've done that you're all going to see. I play chess. I don't play checkers. There's much more coming, and those who follow are going to see it all. Thanks and God bless. And again, I'm sorry, everybody. I love Canada. I love my Albertans. I love all of the First Peoples. I care, and I care for all of you, and I am so very, very sorry to have to relay this news. And folks, it doesn't get any better, because you can kiss all the investment goodbye. And not because they can't make money inside those interest rates. It's the fact that they can't predict Canada. Canada is economically unstable. The Crown doesn't work in 2022. It hasn't worked for many decades. And resources or not, companies aren't going to take a risk in moving their monies in unstable economic countries, unpredictable countries. And that's what Canada is. Legally, financially, spiritually, because of the lack of constitutionalism. That's a fact. No rules of governance, no rules on how to govern, and no accountability. 3 markers that the world will not accept. That's my video. Share if you don't want to be a fool. Share because it's the right thing to do. Save as many as you can. Start planning your next year, because for a lot of you, if you don't own everything you got and you've got outstanding loans, get ready. If you got loans and variable interest rates or mortgages on variable, tell your friends, do not waste time. Lock in today, because it starts March 2nd, and it's only going to get worse throughout the entire year. If you're buying a home anywhere in Canada, do it today. Do it now if you have that thought, because it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. They're going to build 1 million homes with printed money, taxpayer money. Pierre Poilievre's doubling down on Justin Trudeau. Mark my words, Stephen Harper borrowed more than Pierre Elliott Trudeau and every prime minister in the history of Canada combined in his 8 years. Justin Trudeau, in now his 3rd term, is going to do it again. Double down on all of Harper, plus all of every prime minister before him. And when you all flip-flop, not you, but the rest, the millions who don't listen, they're going to flip-flop. Oh, Trudeau betrayed me. Oh, I'm gonna vote Pierre Poilievre. He tells me everything I want to hear. But Pierre Poilievre is going to double down on all of Justin Trudeau, all of Stephen Harper, and every prime minister combined in the history of Canada. Mark my words. Mark my words. This country's broken. We need constitutionalism. We have to settle the crown lands, federally and provincially. That is the only hope, the only salvation. And the quicker we do it, like the presentation I gave at the legislature of Alberta last night, the better. And anyone who doesn't see that is going to be a serious, serious economic consequence of the crown. The slave gets whipped harder. Do more, receive less. Give us everything you got. This isn't a right and left issue. Are there extremes that come with the Liberals, especially under the foundation of Trudeau's? Absolutely. All of those Liberal supporters, all of that which votes in his entirety, are going to be fleeing by the end of the year. Mark my words, Canadians. And the sad part is just the absolute destruction of the Canadian and all the First Peoples. The absolute destruction. And do you know what their plan is? Conservative, Liberal, NDP, Green, Bloc, People's Party of Canada is to continue the crown, continue to offset this with massive immigration, destroying you even further. Because they believe that through the Commonwealth, there are slaves around the world that will accept much less than the Canadian. We will be the proverbial term, the snow Mexicans, within as little as 12 months' time. Snow Mexicans, because we'll be a basic Mexico with a harsh, extreme, brutal seasonal climate. It's sad, it's disgusting. It's a terrible video to have to share, but it's a truth you all must share. God bless, have a great day. I'm sorry.